can out-team fight you no matter the sort of champions that we've got for ourselves. So we might as well index into the early game a little bit more heavily and see if we can't just win out in the early matchup, and then it makes the team
just to
fights...
protect Xiaohao, and it's ThunderTalk that will grab control of the top river.
Yeah, they've got all 5 members around. EDG, though, they can collapse 5, and their champions are not the weakest during the early game. It just depends on if you want to step up here.
Oh, good charm from Zetab's going to get the cleanse out of Assume, but he has to use his Spirit Rush to jump on out of here, and now all of EDG are here. ThunderTalk are trapped in the pit. There's a great Hoya ultimate on the Poppy to send one out, but it costs him all of his mana and nearly all of his health bar, as it's Zetab having to flash away from one of the little mites, and first blood goes over to us.
Feel rough right there for ThunderTalk. It's not going to be ruinous in terms of the game, but still not going to be the ideal initial set. And the fact that that first blood kill also goes over to Assume, that's exactly who you want to be getting that early gold on top of.
And EDG are just looking to kind of snowball that early power. Hawkshot is going to spot Xiaohao on this dragon, but they don't have lane prio in mid or bottom currently. Waves crashing into those turrets, so there can't really be a contest from ThunderTalk besides Feather watching the first Infernal Drake pass away. And EDG are now...
It is a good start right here for EDG.
Ooh.
That's... Wow. Getting the
Rule
flash
number 1
there is huge.
Rule number 1 of Ash Arrow ults, you gotta flash to a side. You can't flash in the same direction as the arrow. Does not cost Assume too much, but that key summoner, like you called out there, blocks her. Feather and Basil looking for a fight, though. They get a great stun chain, and Wink is just gone in an instant. Good stun stack with the feeling like deja vu here, because ThunderTalk, they're starting the grubs again, and they're on the ward once more. And they're going to get collapsed again. There's a Weaver's Wall available. Xiaohao does have the Cyclone. Cease and Desist is still a couple seconds away. This is a real big gamble from ThunderTalk, and they are nowhere near done with these grubs just yet. The second one's soon to fall. Here's the Weaver's Wall down, coming across for Angel. Going to trap some in. 1xN on the wrong side of the wall, but it felt a bit early, as it does dissipate. Flash still has the arrow land. Flash Glacial Fissure's going to follow. They're trying to go hard in the paint for Angel, but they're not going to get there. Cease and Desist flies through his face one. He's got Xiaohao in his sights, and he's going to find the first kill to set up the rest of the squad. In goes the all-out from ZDZ, trying to find these trade kills, but he can't get to Feather, and he doesn't have the same resistances. That Casante's not tanky enough, and ThunderTalk find the pick, and end up trading his life, and neither team feels comfortable enough to grab that last Void Grub. It's a Lonely Jerry, or whatever name you like to give the grubs. Not going to be able to grab that, but instead, EDG are going to teleport Angel up here top lane to dive a Poppy. Not the easiest champion to dive. Let's see how this one executes. As ZDZ is going to grab the turret aggro. Hoya gets stunned up by the Slipping Stone. Cyclone not going to find the knockup first. The second bout will onto Hoya, and luckily for them, Cassante is too darn tanky for one measly turret, and they're able to find the kill.
Looks like they are going to lose out onto that first turret blood, though, just about. You can see the idea, right? Dive the Poppy top lane, try to potentially get a pick before they need to team fight, right? If you're having struggles with 5v5 team fighting, starting it off with getting yourself a pick and turning it into a 4v5 is a great way to even the odds.
Beishwan was looking, saw Assume there in the mid lane alone, wanted to maybe go for that old play, but the rest of EDG all show up across the line. 5 stacking this top river. They want this Rift Herald in their sights. The ThunderTalk are trying to pull them apart here. Hoya teleporting in. Stun going to land on ZDZ. He's not too tanky just yet. He's getting his health bar chunked, but he uses the all-out to pull Beishwan under his tier 1 turret, and now the fight has commenced. Feather going to fall first. Zetab trying to go into the backline, but Angel and Assume stay safe, and they trade out Hoya, and ZDZ will not fall. Even a flash forward from 1xN will not grant him the gray screen. What a hero play from Edward Gaming's top laner. They grabbed 4 kills for virtually nothing.
Yeah, they don't lose anything whatsoever. And I was watching ZDZ there step up, and I was like, what's he doing? What is he doing? But he baits everybody in, and the fact that you can pull Bertrand under your tower right there just completely breaks the teamfight lines that ThunderTalk were trying to draw for themselves. They need these clear front to back so that they can launch themselves in when they think out of this ThunderTalk draft, actually to the great effect that you would have wanted. We are now going to see this Rift Herald into the mid lane. Takes a decent chunk out of this mid lane turret. Not going to be able to pick up the kill onto it though. We do have 4 members hanging around all together. Could potentially look for a play if you're able to land a bit of engage. There's an attempt to get the pushback onto Hoya. Not going to end up happening. And the play does fizzle out just a little bit. Straight on over to the Drake though, and this would be EDG managing to complete those feats of strength.
Tab committed to getting that top lane tier 1 first. Can't teleport in. 1xN thrown on the wrong side of the Weaver's wall. He's got all of EDG in front of him, and they're going to pile on the CC. 2 Cyclone knockups is enough to get 1xN, and now the ball, all holds are off, and EDG are flying forward with grace. What a Weaver's wall from Angel. Another setup for Edward Gaming that results in a victorious fight.
Gorgeous, gorgeous fight right there. You pick up a tier 1 mid lane and this dragon to boot. Brilliant, brilliant fighting right there out of EDG. And that was the Weaver's Wall that we were hoping for. That initial play that we saw up around those grubs wasn't the best use of the Weaver's Wall, but this is exactly what we needed. Setab also going to get jumped right here. Does still have the ulti to be able to survive, but having to use that once again defensively. It hasn't felt like Setab's really been able to use that one.
And the Ashe on top of that. And I'm going to keep harping on it. This is what ThunderTalk are relying on to win them the game.
Yep.
And now they're sitting down 3,000 gold, do not have access to the Feats of Strength buff, and they're going to have a hard time playing for Otacon. ThunderTalk need to find a big pick now before this game spirals out of control.
Of course, on the other hand, ThunderTalk have put themselves... Hang on.
Great clone. No Ashe Arrow comes through. Beishuan hits the Trickster.
Collapse?
Wake's going to go back in, does use the quickness into a beautiful seismic shove. Another awesome chain of abilities between Edward Gaming. Going to force Beishuan out. Teleport coming through here for Hoya. But he's coming into all of EDG here. They're going to see if they can stun him up. Hoya's going to use Steadfast Presence to dash away. Beishuan goes back in, but his health bar is far too low. Keeper's Verse going to knock one out, but Hoya flies into the mincemeat that is Edward Gaming. They just turn it right on its head. Tab can't find an angle in it until he's lost all of his teammates. And look at ZDZ run the backline by himself. What has gone into Edward Gaming? Ace at 21 minutes in game 1.
ThunderTalk are falling to pieces right in front of our eyes right now. But that just was a bad decision. Whoever made that call wasn't correct in that one, and it's costing them dearly right now. All of a sudden, the gold gap has ballooned to about 5,000. That's a decent chunk at the moment. Beishuan looking for a little bit of a flank right here. Potentially wants to get a kill onto Assumed.
Remember, though, they took Otacon, Voracious Otacon in the background there when we were during the replay, so even going for picks right now is only going to grant you, what, a maximum of 500 gold over 5 kills in quotation mark. So Voracious Otacon, you talked about Bloxer. Have you seen these LPL teams utilize it really well? Specifically in this game, it just grants EDG the will to go wherever they want for this next 2 minutes, and that even means picking off Tab before he can even commit an ounce of Spirit Rush dashes to safety.
I think wherever they want is going to be into the base of ThunderTalk right now. They've got themselves a push going through the mid lane and the top. The lane is not anywhere to be seen, but still, they can just step up, and it doesn't matter. You've got that free, quicker recall, if anything, if you do end up getting taken down. 5 members strong right now up towards the top side of the map.
Whoa, nice and engage. In goes Xiaohao, feeling so confident, running in, Wink behind him. He's going to get big Grand Entrance knockup, but they have to be careful. They're going under Nexus turrets. 1xN able to turn and start free firing with that lethal tempo, but his tanks are dropping to the rest of the might of EDG. You called it, Bloxer. Edward Gaming are using Voracious Otacon to take not just an entrance to the base, but an inhibitor, and maybe even more here as they're really sticking around. They don't have the wave for the Nexus turrets, and Voracious Otacon might not last much longer.
EDG, they drafted themselves a comp that worked well into what ThunderTalk usually like to do for themselves, and it so far has been working out to great effect.
And now they can just take the free buffs they can get across the rift here. Second Mountain Drake, sure. What can ThunderTalk really do to contest? Baron spawning? Sure, why not? We get vision set up and start pushing these lanes in. We got supers in the top lane, the perfect position for a Baron take. ThunderTalk are going to have to start gambling. You can see Beishuan going for it, but the pings allude to the fact that he has once again been spotted out. Ooh. Has himself a 1v1 with Wink, but 1xN is getting dove by Angel and Xiaohao, able to flash away from the Wukong. Really expert kiting here from 1xN to try and turn this for ThunderTalk, but all they end up getting is a couple key ultimates out of the much stronger Edward Gaming.
And they're now going to have to just head back, try to get a little bit more health back. And like you said, with those super minions pouring in through the top side, going to have to be very careful. It's going to be the Baron started up right here for EDG. Now, they've thrown games in this position before.
Yeah, and they don't have any ultimates to really fight, and Beishuan knows it. Angel gonna flash away with the Seraph Shield, should be safe for now. Zentab gets a big charm onto Assume, who has to use his cleanse, but he's still safe. The damage isn't enough there for ThunderTalk just yet until Zentab dashes mid-stasis to find the pick onto Assume, kites himself back out expertly, and here comes the lightning after the thunder. 1xN free firing on his ass, knocks down Xiao Hao. Next is ZDZ, he sure is tanky, but can he 1v5? The health bars are low, but not low enough. ThunderTalk find an inch, make it a mile. 4 kills and a turn to Baron to break open game 1.
They are gonna lose themselves a Nexus turret for this potentially though. And low health bars on taking this Baron. Still though, we called it. EDG, they find these team fights so tricky to do, and once again around wants to get that anti-healing down, doesn't want to be dealing with just the constant healing that you can get out of a Zoom and Xiao Hao on this game.
It's going to once again, though, nerf that damage profile. As 1xN really needs that Infinity Edge, as we have a Chains of Corruption Cyclone Mastery. Throws both Beishuan and Feather up in the air under an enemy turret. There's nothing they can do but fall to the gray screen. Zentab, 1xN, and Hoya now have to run for the hills and make sure they get themselves out, because it could cost them the game, but at the very least should get Edward Gaming Mountain Soul for the rest of this one.
Yeah, Mountain Soul is going to be huge as well. It's already so tricky to kill ZDZ on this Cassante, and it was just an overstep out of ThunderTalk. There was no reason that they needed to step up that far into this composition. That is the joys of a composition with a Rakan and a Wukong. You compare that engage so nicely. You've also got that Varus ulti as well, of course, to be able right there on the very edge with the ulti. And the quick response out of EDG, they pull the trigger immediately, pick themselves up those 2 quick kills, and that's all she wrote when it comes to the Soul Dragons. Aren't something we're focusing on quite as much at the moment, but that is going to be a big buff for EDG.
Beishuan, very aggressive Vault Breaker. Assumes damage is so high. Zentab going to commit the flash. They find Angel in the thickets, and Hoya's on a massive flank here. Has the Keeper's Verdict if he could use it to give them even more of a man advantage, but Hoya's health bar is fastly depleting. Has to flash himself out, and Zentab gets caught by Wink. An awesome charm. Taste your own medicine for the Ahri. Beishuan goes in with the cease and desist, though. It's on to Assume. Once again, ThunderTalk are finding the picks onto the damage dealers, but they're losing their own as Xiao Hao flies in the background with the Cyclone. His health his sustain is far too much to bear, and where's the damage through for ThunderTalk? It's Beishuan and Hoya. Time and time again, ThunderTalk fight their way out of misery for an ace once more in the face of EDG. Flank angles, engages onto these carries. So EDG still in a pretty comfortable spot as they continue to scale behind a Mountain Soul, and by God, whatever the health bar is on ZDZ right now.
Yeah, ZDZ is just so strong at the moment. Stepping forwards, potentially looking for that initial engage. You've got to pick your moments so carefully for both of these teams. Your engage tools are strong but squishy. If you choose the wrong moment as Wink to go jumping in, you just die. Exactly the same thing for Bechuan. And despite all of this initial setup, you can spot it out so easily with those hawk shots. ThunderTalk, what can they do?
Arrow gonna land on his ZDZ, buffers it perfectly with the W. Believe he actually got saved by Wink there, so no stun comes across. One key ultimate is down. Xiao Hao, not the healthiest, but looking for a way in here. He's gonna go on to Beishuan. Does have to quit the flash, but gets knocked up by the Cyclone. The Weaver's Wall keeps him in turret range. Beishuan is sectioned off from his team and cut down. EDG now with no jungler on the enemy team should have a free shot at Baron. There's nothing ThunderTalk can do.
No, it's just a mistake right here. You could see fully charged up Vault Breaker on Bechuan. Could have stepped away, could have tried to get over that wall, but just decided to stick around for a little bit longer, wanted to go in, wanted to get that fight off with the rest of the team, but unfortunately isn't able to do so. In EDG, they survive themselves another potentially scary situation. They do it by avoiding a team fight, getting an initial pick, exactly what we were calling for this team to do earlier on. Once again, it really does feel like it's on ZDZ, constantly stepping up, an Angel with a great Weaver's Wall. The first one wasn't ideal, and everything since has been great. Set up on a little bit of a wild adventure right here. Might be able to get this flank off. He's not going to be spotted out.
Beishuan is still mere seconds away from spawning. There's the Keeper's Verdict, sends Angel away. So it's a 3v4, now going to be a 5v3. Zentab is committed to this flank. His old Greybeard Elder spawns onto the Rift. Beishuan is back up. making his way back down, but EDG have taken complete control of this bottom river, and Setab is still so committed. When will he step out? Steps out at just the inopportune time. Xiaohao has the flank spotted, and that means they have the green light to go back in on the front side of the fight. Hoya has to burn that flash. ThunderTalk now have control of the other, trying to burn it down. What a timed blast code from Setab, gets away from Xiaohao. In goes Base One. They're going out for a Su, but there's no damage behind him. ZDZ trying to hold ThunderTalk at the front line. Base One going to go down. Flashing forward is Angel. Next is Hoya. EDG found the fight they needed. Front to back is the way to go, and that should bring them to not only kills, not only aces, but a Game 1 win to find their first win of the LPL split.
EDG, massive performance right here, exactly when it counted, back and forth game, but they're going to pick themselves up that clean ace, and ZDZ, he shows up in a massive way for the team, both in that 1v1 on the Jace and now on this Cassante, completely unkillable. Every bit of damage that ThunderTalk had during that fight was poured into that Cassante. He didn't care, more than happy to absorb all of that as the carries die on the backline. EDG, oh, it looked like it was going to be a bit risky, but this game has restored so much faith in the way that this team plays.
What is going on with this Nexus turret? Okay, all right, so I didn't see a health bar. They weren't able to hit the Nexus, but they got there. And there it is, like you called out, Bloxer. What a response from Edward Gaming after the BLG series. They find their first